So friends, today's topic is electric field due to an infinitely long straight charged wire. So let us consider a one wire which is infinitely long. So when I am marking this dot, it means it is infinitely long, and let it be a uniformly positively charged. Okay, it is a uniformly charged. So with positive in nature. Let P is the point where we have to calculate the electric field, which is R unit away from the wire. Let the wire is having the length L. L is the length of the wire. Now to calculate the electric field at point P, we have to use the Gauss law, and according to that we have to take a Gaussian surface. So wire is cylindrical in nature, so its Gaussian surface is also cylindrical. So this is its Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface is imaginary surface. So if you take this Gaussian surface, we have these three basic regions. One, the top circular region, second bottom one, and third one is the curved. So this is the curved surface. Top, then bottom, and third. So I am marking here as A1 surface. Okay, this is the surface number 1, this is the surface number 2, and this is the surface number 3. Now if we denote the direction of its aerial vector, then aerial vector is always perpendicular to the surface. So this is A1. Similarly, this is the aerial vector for the surface 2, and this is the aerial vector for the surface 3. So S3 is the surface whose aerial vector is always perpendicular to the surface. If you talk about the direction of the electric field line, then the electric field lines are always outward for a positively charged. So these are electric field lines. So these are all electric field lines which you can show it. Right side as well as left side. So left side they are also moving outward. Now if you see the direction of the electric field line and the aerial vector, so between E and A2, what angle you are getting? 90 degree. Between E and A1, what angle you are getting? This is again 90 degree. And between E and A3, they are parallel to each other, so angle is 0 degree. So according to the definition of electric flux, okay, we can write it as phi equals to E dA cos theta. Correct? So dA is a very small surface area for. So we have to calculate for this whole. So we will write it in integral form. So when we write this in the integral form, this is d phi. For the very small area, the flux is very small. So for integral, you will write it d phi is equals to E dA. So E dot dA. What I did it, I have removed this theta. Correct? So though we have to write it, though we will write it, so better it is write it. So E dA cos theta. Now this d phi becomes phi, and E is a constant which is to be taken out, dA cos theta. So if you calculate it for the first surface, so for first surface, so phi 1 is equals to E dA, and what is the angle between for the first surface D and EA? That is the 90 degree. So cos 90 and cos 90 is 0. So phi 1 is equals to 0 degree. 0. Phi 1 is equals to 0. Similarly, if you calculate the surface 2, so for phi 2 this becomes E dA 2. Okay, so here it is 1, here it is 2 cos theta. And what is the theta between E and dA2? If you see here, A2 and E is 90 degree. So again E dA2, this is cos 90, and this becomes again 0. Why? Because cos 90 is equals to 0. So this is equation 3. Now if you see for the third surface, this is E dA cos theta. And what is theta here for the third one? So here we will write 3. So for third one it becomes E dA 3. Correct? Cos 0. And cos 0 is, since cos 0 is equals to 1, therefore phi 3 is equals to E dA 3. So this is equation number 4. So therefore the total flux, if you see the total flux through this Gaussian surface, is equals to phi 1 plus phi 2 plus phi 3, but as we know that phi 1 and phi 2 they are 0, so only responsible flux is the phi 3, so therefore phi total is equals to phi 3. Why? Since phi 1 and phi 2 they are equals to 0. So when you put this value here, you will get it integral EdA 3. Now this is the phi total, which is equation 5. Now we have to use Gauss law, and according to the Gauss law, phi is equals to Q upon epsilon naught. Now compare this phi with the equation 5. So okay, equation 6, equation 5 and equation 6, compare it. What you will get it? Integral EdA 3 is equals to Q upon epsilon naught. E is constant, take it out. dA3 is equals to Q upon epsilon naught. And what is the integral of the dA3? So dA3 is the curved surface. And what is the curved surface area of a cylinder? And this is equals to 2 pi r h. So what is h? Here it is L. Correct? So this height of the wire is taken as the length. So this becomes Q upon epsilon naught. So what is the electric field? Electric field is equals to Q upon 2 pi r L epsilon naught. So this is the electric field in terms of the length. But since if we use the charge density, okay, if we use the charge density, then the charge density, linear charge density. So if lambda is the linear charge density, then what, according to the definition, lambda is equals to Q upon L, Q equals to lambda L. Put this value in expression number 7. So therefore equation 7 becomes E is equals to Q की वैल्यू क्या रखेंगे बेटा? lambda L upon 2 pi r L epsilon naught. This L get cancelled. E is equals to lambda upon 2 pi r epsilon naught. This is the electric field due to infinitely long state charged wire. Thank you.